Hey there, it's Egwin again from Scope of Life. Basically with another tutorial of my stretching series. I've just been looking at the water here and at the beach. It's really dirty, as you might be able to see in the video. So there is a lot of stuff, a lot of plastic, a lot of old mattresses, slippers, bottles, whatever the currents bring here. So it's difficult. The ocean needs a lot of cleaning, and the beach here, I'm gonna definitely put some of the stuff into a bag, take it with me after the filming. So I always try to leave a place a little bit better behind than the way I found it. So what we're going to do now, back to the tutorial. Tutorial today is one of my stretching series. It's about the short adductor muscles. Short adductor muscles run on the inside of your thigh, on the inside of your femur. The femur is your upper leg bone. And basically those are the muscles that run from your pelvis on the inside towards your femur, reach up about until here. So all the muscles that run over the knee, those are on the inside, those are then the long adductors. We're working on the short adductors today. Adductor means it's a muscle that brings the leg from the side back to the center. So it adducts the leg towards my middle line. The position, I'm almost in the position already. We are going to use a frog-like position for this stretch. I'm going to show it to you from different angles. Basically what we're going to do is open the legs, place them on the mat, and now we bring down the upper body towards the ground. Now I'm simulating here for people who aren't that flexible. Basically what you want, you can either use just the mat or, like in one of the last video tutorials, again, some cushioning for the knees if it doesn't feel so nice. If you're having your mat resting just on a hard floor, on a woodboard floor or something like that, then it's probably nice to have a little cushioning underneath your knees. You bring down your arms to the ground. What you want is more or less a straight back. So I'm gonna show it to you from the side. I just leave the mat like that for now. So we have the legs out wide. I'm gonna bring my arms down. What we don't want to have is something like that, where we have this extreme bending in the spine. We also don't want to have anything wrapped out like this. So what we're looking for is a more or less an estimation of a straight back here. Now in this position, you might notice my lower legs, they're not turned out to the side like so. I'm gonna show it to you from the rear as well. But my knees are bent. This is the only thing where you could possibly hurt yourself, meaning if you stretch your legs out too far and then try to move your pelvis to the front and to the rear, that's the only thing where you could possibly damage yourself in this position. So we're not going to do that, obviously. Just bend the knees, bring the toes towards each other, bring your arms in front of you, your back is more or less straight. And in this position, you can help yourself using your fingers to open your legs a little wider, maybe. What we're looking for is a stretch on the inside, on the left, and on the right. Now, once again, the short adductor muscles, they have different heads. So they have different parts where their origin is, and so that's why you can, once again, modulate the stretch. You can move a little bit further to the front, or you can move your pelvis a little bit further to the back. Notice that if I move my pelvis to the back, I still keep my straight spine, so I'm not doing anything like this rolling up motion. I'm basically pushing my spine, my sacrum, straight into the pelvis, and by doing so creating a slightly different stretch in front in my short adductor muscles. You can keep your head like so, like in one line with your spine. That's the absolute optimum. You can maybe place it on your fingers, or you can have your head resting down a little bit. This gives you a slight stretch back here in the neck area. That's okay too. What we don't want to have is anything where your head is raised to the front, because in this position you tense up the short muscles in your neck, and that again is not too good. Now, in this position you can vary from the front to the rear. To get out of this position comfortably, the best way is to simply walk yourself to the front, lower your pelvis down onto the mat, and then just gently stretch out the legs behind. So yes, it looks like a very comfortable stretch. It actually is. There is not a lot to add here, no really dangerous things. There is one more thing that you can do. It's a wonderful stretch to open up your sacroiliac joints. Your sacroiliac joints are basically the joints that are back here on the left and right between your sacrum and your hip bones. To open up those joints, you can do it no matter how well you're stretched. It works best if you can go really deep. So meaning when you can really open up your legs completely to the side, that's quite nice. Now you'll have the most effect on opening up the sacroiliac joint, but still you can do the posture as well in a not so much stretched position. Like so, my pelvis is still quite nicely up in the air. Now, I mentioned before, you can rock your pelvis backwards to modulate the stretch on the inside of your thighs. When you want to work on your sacroiliac joints, you rock your pelvis back and then you try to point your sacrum, your coccyx, the tip of your tailbone, down towards the ground. So down this way, like so. And you keep sinking back into the movement. Notice my back is not curved like so. I'm only looking for this slight curving aspect of my pelvis back here, moving down towards the ground, and in this position pushing a little bit backwards into the movement. Now what this does is simply, basically your sacrum is a triangle that's between your two hip bones. Now in this position the legs basically grab onto the hip bones. They slightly open the hip bones to the side. And it's as if you would want to move your tailbone actually between the opening parts of the hip. And that's really, really nice stretch and opening movement. Very gentle at the beginning, especially when you're not too deep in the position, but still it'll open your sacroiliac joints and is a nice addition. So not to get confused here, this stretch enables you to do two different things. One is stretching the inside of your thighs exclusively, and the other one is to have this slight stretch on the inside, but still be also able to open the sacroiliac joints. I'm going to talk about opening sacroiliac joints, definitely a lot of more in the future in coming up tutorials, because it's a very important part of the body. For now, just keep in mind to go into this position comfortably. The last thing to do so, I promised you before, I'm going to show you the position from the rear, just so you have an idea. In this position, when I come down here, make sure that your lower legs are not turned out like so, especially the toes are not turned out. but rather they come to the inside. It doesn't really matter whether or not you're able to sink your pelvis completely down or not. If you can sink your pelvis completely down, then obviously you'll also have to go a little deeper with your arms in order for your spine to be straight and not curved up like this. So what we want is always this straight spine, and then moving backwards into the stretch. You can come to the front and then roll to the side. There is one general rule in stretching, and this is whenever you stretch a muscle, don't try to work with this muscle to get out of the position. General rule for the sort of stretching we are doing. What does it mean? If I'm in this position and I want to get healthy out of it, then it's not a good idea to sort of lift yourself and pull your legs towards each other. Pulling your legs towards each other needs to be done by activating exactly those muscles that we've just tried to open and to stretch. And it's better to have a little bit of a relaxation aspect between stretching the muscle and working with it again. So once again, to get out safely from this position, just walk yourself to the front, bring your pelvis to the ground, straighten out your legs, roll to the side, sit a little bit, relax, wiggle a little bit from side to side, and that's about it. All right. Once again, basic and beginner's version of the next stretch. This was the stretch for the short adductor muscles on the left and on the right inside of the thighs. Wish you a wonderful day. Stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to get further updates on stretching, on breathing, on meditation, on natural movement. Basically everything that has to do with development and health. Have a wonderful day. See you around.